The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Filmjitsu, the podcast that wields films like deadly weapons. We are your hosts. I am Mike.
And I am Jay.
On this week's episode of Filmjitsu, Jason's crawling into the litter box with 1981's Roar, a movie that has to be seen to be believed. We're also going to do our bottom 5 movie cats, play a little bit of Dueling Double Bill before Jason reveals what film I have to watch for our upcoming episode. But before all that, let's roll the trailer for 1981's Roar.
You are not going to kill those cats.
You can tell me what you're going to do, and you can tell me what the rest of this committee is going to do. But I'll be damned if you're going to tell me what I'm going to do.
That's why you have to help me. He could get killed.
I can go on any property to kill animals that I deem are a danger to human life.
I'm telling you there'll be no culling of cats, elephants, or any animals ever again.
What are you trying to prove? That you can have lions socializing with people?
No, but we can't keep exterminating. We can't keep exterminating everything that we fear that inconveniences us.
Let the zoos keep them alive.
My good friend, Roar has been on my radar for a long time. This is a film that's notorious for its production history, for the just insane amount of personal injury. This must have been an insurance nightmare. There's so much to talk about here. But what finally inspired me to pull the trigger was our last episode where we discussed Tammy and the T-Rex that has a scene of Paul Walker being mauled by an assortment of big cats. And I thought, oh, yeah, Roar. It's time for that.
Paul Walker's very obvious stunt double. But yes.
Right. And the character in that film comes away far less unscathed than anybody who was anywhere near the ranch belonging to horror icon Tippi Hedren and her husband, Noel Marshall. The husband and wife duo that financed this entire endeavor out of their own pockets to find out what happens when 150 untrained enormous cats are let loose in a ranch full of people with cameras? But the only way to really discover what the answer to that question is you have to watch Roar. So Jason, you've had the pleasure. I still have not. Tell me, is this movie the insanity that it sounds like?
Yeah, it's every bit as insane as it sounds. Unfortunately, it's not terribly entertaining.
Oh, no.
So that's really the problem with Roar, is that the story behind the film is not just more interesting than the movie itself. It almost completely replaces it. As you said, it was written, directed, and stars Noel Marshall, who, by the way, not an actor. Right?
Turns out.
He's not just some random guy, I'll tell you that. He was the executive producer of The Exorcist, which, you know, as you know, for my money, is what I think may be the greatest film ever made.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of wild part about Noel Marshall and about The Exorcist. The success of The Exorcist is kind of what funded the bulk of Roar. So this really wasn't some kind of scrappy indie experiment. It was a passion project that was bankrolled by one of the biggest horror hits of all time. And it ballooned into, Mike, a $17 million production.
Wow.
That didn't make its money back.
In 1981 dollar bills, right?
To be truthful, a lot earlier, because it took something in the realm of a decade to make.
Ooh.
The reason this thing exists at all is because Marshall had this very specific idea that he wanted to prove, that humans and big cats could live together in harmony. And instead of writing a tight script to explore that idea, he just went out and lived with lions and started filming. First of all, where I really want to start with this is the fact that the movie looks way better than it has any right to look.
Okay.
And the reason that it looks so good is, once again, we have a movie shot by Jan de Bont.
Yes, this is unbelievable. An early entry into Jan de Bont's filmography here.
It's his first American film.
Right.
And in fact, I came to find out that a lot of people that worked on this movie got their union cards working on this because it was a non-union production.
Oh, okay.
And there was always this catch-22, like with SAG and everything, you kind of have to get cast in order to be in something, but in order to be in something, you have to be in the union.
Right.
It's the same thing with these different trades orgs that are all throughout filmmaking.
Sure, yeah.
A lot of people got their union cards working on this film, and there was a hell of a lot of turnover. At one point, 20 people quit all at once. Maybe part of the reason was something like what happened to Jan de Bont, where he got scalped.
Yes.
And got 200 sutures.
Yes. What was it? A lion?
A lion.
There is a world in which we don't get Twister. We don't get Speed because that lion bites Jan de Bont just a little harder. And this maniac just had his head like stapled back together, and he went and finished the film.
A lot of people didn't finish the film, but Jan de Bont was there neck and neck with Noel Marshall, and both of them apparently were screaming assholes the entire time. Roar is awesome looking. Mike, I don't even understand how he got some of these shots, okay? There are shots where he is on tracks and he is dollying past full grown-ass tigers by the dozens with humans in the same shot, and he's tracking action like it's all planned, and none of it is planned.
Are you sure he's not just being dragged by the throat by some off-camera big cat, and he just didn't stop rolling? He's like, that's it.
There were handheld shots that looked a little bit like that. At one point, he actually had a hole dug, and they let out lions. They were lionesses, I believe, but they were letting them out, and they ran directly over the camera and over him. And they said, if you move, they're going to tear into you. You're not going to live through this. He's like, I'll be fine. And then he did it. I don't know if that was the time that he got the 200 stitches, but
yeah.
This is the paradox of Roar. The cinematography is legitimately impressive. It borders on stunning at times, but it's achieved in a way that's so reckless that you're left admiring the images while also questioning whether they were ever worth capturing in the first place. You know, it's like, why did you risk it for this?
To quote Filmjitsu, who is this even for?
Tonal imbalance dominates this thing. I mean, you do not know if it is a comedy, a thriller, a loving, heartfelt family redemption story, or just a preachy documentary about the importance of conserving land for wild animals and letting them be. And the character that Noel Marshall plays in the film is a naturalist who hails from Chicago.
So there's a story.
Really? Is there, though? Like, it's basically the Noel Marshall show. It's just with, like, him named Hank, you know?
Yeah,
and
okay.
Tippi Hedren has a different name, too. I think she's like Madeline or something. But I think Melanie Griffith is Melanie. And John and Jerry Marshall, who are his sons in real life, are also just John and Jerry. So, I mean, there wasn't a lot of real acting happening here,
right.
Even though, you know, I mean, you've got Tippi Hedren, who, by the way, fantastic looking woman.
Yeah.
I mean, just an absolute smoke show, even in her 40s here, or whatever she was there. The just absolutely gorgeous woman.
If you're a woman in your 40s and you just heard Jason say, even in her 40s, please send your emails to jay@filmjitsu.net.
Fuck you. You know how Hollywood is. Don't
I do.
lay that shit at my feet. Cut that shit out. Good Lord. Anyway, Hank sets up this magical, like crazy huge house and then proceeds to let all these cats kind of live with him. And he's got a friend named Mativo who comes and visits, who is like a local guide and whatever. And he thinks he's fucking crazy. there's no acting here. The guy who played Mativo was a Kenyan actor that lived in LA. And he was like, no, when I am not working, I don't want to be anywhere near these things.
Right.
And you can see it all over his face.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about 30 cats in one shot.
There's really that many, huh?
There are sometimes so many, it's overwhelming to watch. And the idea is that this guy is trying to prove out that humans and big cats can live together in harmony, that they have beautiful lives that need to be preserved. He has a research grant, and his family is coming to visit from Chicago. He's kind of estranged with his wife, who's Tippi Hedren. His kids really miss him. So they're all coming to see him, and it becomes this sort of comedy of errors where they arrive at the airport, but he's not there because this grant committee shows up. And while the grant committee's there visiting him, they get attacked by 2 tigers. And then 2 of the grant committee decide that they're going to come back and shoot all the animals. But Hank has to go with his buddy Mativo to the airport. So they go, and they're getting chased by their own tigers who are slowing them down. And in the meantime, the family shows up at the house and they think, oh, what a beautiful house. This is amazing. And then they notice that outside there are lions tearing a zebra to pieces. And they just come into the house and just proceed to rip apart the entire place, getting zebra carcass all over the place and everything. And then start chasing the family all around. And it's supposed to be thrilling, but the score is so bad.
Yeah.
It's so lighthearted and whimsical that the movie just can't retain any level of suspense or thrill. It's just people running around with lions.
But only yesterday they were so happy. Now look at them.
Finally on the verge of finding paradise, and the only thing lacking is my family to share it with me, and Togar comes in wrecking it.
But why is Toga always so dirty and bloody?
Well, they're all messy eaters.
There is a rogue lion out there who's kind of covered in gristle and blood.
I like that.
He wants to challenge Robbie, who's the head of the lion family, the real alpha male. Hank thinks that they're brothers and they're trying to solve something or whatever. I don't know. But that rogue lion ends up killing the 2 hunters who end up shooting a few of the cats. They come back and shoot a few, but he just makes quick work of them.
Yeah.
And then the movie pretty much wraps up with like everybody getting reunited at the compound, the family realizing that, oh, these lions are okay. They're not coming after us at all. Because they all went to sleep in like this fenced off area and all the cats came into it.
Okay.
Through like tree branches and stuff.
That sounds terrifying.
The family wakes up and the animals are all sleeping and being cuddly and stuff. So they're like, oh, they're okay. So Hank comes back with Mativo. These other 2 guys got mauled and killed by a lion. He's like, shh, don't tell them about that. And that plot line's done. It's gone.
Good.
That's
right.
just out the window. The last 3 or 4 minutes of this thing is just a song about Eden and cut to a montage of the family just playing with lions. It's an awful, awful movie that is maybe the most spectacularly awful film I've ever seen.
Wow.
You can't believe what you're watching the entire time. For the first 15 minutes, it's actually terrifying to watch.
Because it's like a snuff film.
Yep. It's like Swiss Family Robinson mixed with a snuff film.
Right. Oh, my God.
There's really this kind of spectacle in the film, which was really the whole reason the film was made. And what it reminded me so much of, Mike, was when I was a filmmaker and I was doing improvisational cinema. Like, we've got an idea of where we're going and we're maybe feeding each other lines and we're trying to make the thing work. It has that vibe all over it. Amateur cinema is what this feels like. People who can't really act, can't really deliver the right mood. It's not quite cutting together right because there's not a lot of continuity necessarily. And when we had the opportunity to do something really fucking cool, we would just turn on a dime and rewrite whatever we were doing to fit that in. Like,
sure.
It was a novelty back when I was in my early 20s to go to New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to have won a contest to go see a band in New York City. and we happen to be shooting a movie at the time, and I'm like, oh, we got to get a shot of the villain in New York City. So there's a shot in this film of like the Empire State Building, and it pulls back and it just shows my character like confused and walking kind of dark and whatever. It was like, oh, well, now he's in New York.
Now he's in New York.
That's replace New York with lions, and it's the same mentality.
Panthers, jaguars,
cheetahs, they're all in here. But the lions, man, the lions.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifying.
Because that's what lions are. And I don't know why we have this continued desire to fuck with them. Like, why can't it be true that we need to preserve nature for the lions, but also just stay the fuck away from them? Like, why do we have to put our heads in their mouths to prove this point? I don't understand, but it's a thing that happens all the time. It seems like we almost can't get away from this conversation without some fucking how talking about Tiger King. A collective fever dream that those of us who lived through the pandemic all suffered from.
Mm-hmm.
This multi-part documentary about a total friggin' weirdo who bought himself a bunch of giant cats and lived with them, and people got hurt, and it was crazy. And I cannot believe I invested any part of my life in that movie. So if I'm going to kind of give you a dueling double bill, right? Tiger King and Roar, could it be done? Should it be done?
All right, cats and kittens. Here's what we're going to talk about now, okay? And this is the big takeaway. Narcissism and alpha male posturing. It's not about who's the more powerful lion in the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's about Hank being the alpha male. It's about Noel Marshall being the alpha male. He put his entire family in jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one of his family was mauled in some way or another. Even Melanie Griffith had reconstructive surgery on her forehead because she was scraped across the forehead, had something like 60 stitches and had to have it.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. She had quit the film at one point, was replaced by another actress, and then decided to come back and finish out her role and ended up refilming a bunch of stuff.
Huh.
It's always some sort of mad hubris that's at work here.
That's what I keep thinking of. Is like, this is like Hubris the movie. I kind of wish that instead of bottom 5 cats, we had just done bottom 5
egomaniacs.
Yeah. We'll have to save that one for later. But the hubris that it takes to think that this movie should be made, and you're the one to make it. All of the insane damage that this guy did to his real life to make this thing happen, I'm pretty sure put himself right into the poorhouse.
He did. The film sat unreleased for 35 years in the United States. It got limited distribution in Japan and in Germany, but this film couldn't really gain an audience. It didn't have the right tone. It went through a bunch of iterations with marketing where it was first billed as a thriller, and then that didn't quite work. So then they switched gears and made it a comedy. And it was like the most ferocious comedy ever made.
Oh, boy.
It really is an example of an ego run amok.
Hey, no more fighting. Come here. Aw, sit down. You're okay. Poor
okay,
baby.
okay. These stupid lions are frightening me. And you're going to bring Madeline and children into this?
This will be great for him. Not boxed in like back in Chicago.
The other thing that happened in this film that I think is worth mentioning, Mike, is, and part of why the budget inflated the way it did, was that they built this set in California in a floodplain.
Whoops.
And it flooded. And what was really sad was a few of the lions, including the lead alpha male lion, Robbie, were killed because kind of chaos happened afterward, and that lion was shot by like game wardens because they were afraid that,
oh my God, they got day after tomorrowed?
Yeah, the wolves got out.
There was a flood and then the lions got out? Holy shit.
It's actually kind of sad. And there was a documentary called Roar, the most dangerous movie ever made. It's very short. I think it was made for Animal Planet. I ended up watching it because I wanted to kind of know a little bit more about this. And it had John Marshall, who's in the film, one of Noel Marshall's sons, and Jerry Marshall, And Jerry Marshall was clearly very connected to the mission of saving these cats.
Mm-hmm.
And he got genuinely teared up when he started talking about the flood. The kids were raised, I mean, they weren't children, they were young adults, right,
Yeah.
at this point. But I think that the Marshall kids had grown up with big cats, truthfully. Yeah. And I think even Melanie Griffith was attached to them. What was interesting was, to your point, Noel Marshall sort of sunk his whole bag into this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And several months after the movie was finally complete and done, he and Tippi Hedren split up.
Oh, no.
And Tippi Hedren went on to create a nonprofit organization for the protection of big cats that was called Shambhala. And she actually wrote a book called Shambhala that was all about her experiences. And she was the real deal.
Yeah.
It's kind of a sad story for her in a way, but she ended up winning an award from one of the animal protection organizations. And her daughter, Melanie Griffith, introduced her at the award ceremony and said, my mom really did care about these cats and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the big differences that I hear, and it's interesting because I guess I wasn't expecting to have this as part of the conversation, is I'm hearing that as much as this film has been billed maybe now as the most dangerous movie ever made, and it's a bit of a novelty, it's a bit of a curiosity, it does sound to me like there was a lot of genuine love and affection in what the filmmakers were trying to do, which is, of course, a huge contrast to something like Tiger King, where those were awful people abusing animals. It sounds like everybody here involved genuinely thought they were doing something noble.
There is love in a lot of this, and especially in the messaging of this film, for sure. And that's kind of a beautiful thing. It's not cynical. It's not jaded. It's not ugly like something like Tiger King.
So the real question for me then is, for you, who is a true blue cat guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Is Roar the kind of film that cat lovers would enjoy, or is it exactly the opposite of that?
I think it kind of is the opposite of it, because I think that the scene that I was talking about earlier, where Noel Marshall, Hank, is bringing his friend Mativo into his living quarters, and there's just fucking cats everywhere. Mativo is looking this way and that, and it is not acting. I mean, you can tell this guy is terrified.
Right, he knows what the deal is.
Noel Marshall's just looking all suave and cool and whatever. At one point, he steps down. He's in his underwear, I think, or something, but he steps down, and one of the cats goes for his leg, sinks its teeth into him, and drags him.
Whoa.
And it's in the movie. You see him get pulled, and they kind of make light of it in the movie, but in real life, he was at the hospital, and he was out for a week because lions, they've got so much bacteria in their teeth.
Right.
He almost lost his leg. That's not fun for a cat person to watch. It's just not.
Yeah.
Because cats are fun. They're great. Domestic cats.
Yeah.
These maniacs were going with untrained wild cats to prove a theory, and almost got everybody killed.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Jason, bottom 5 cats seems like just another Mike didn't try all that hard bottom 5 list.
Okay.
But when you really stop and think about it, this is a pretty rich topic. From the Black Cat in 1934 to that Cats movie that I made you review on our first episode that had all the buttholes in it. Cats have always been a part of our cinematic storytelling, but I don't actually want to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
I want to talk about someone special to me. I want to talk about somebody that taught me to be a little more open-minded, a little more tolerant. I want to talk about Cody the cat.
No. Oh, Mike.
The only cat I've ever loved. Dakota, rest in power, my guy.
Yeah.
True to form, you and I are on opposite sides of the dog and cat wars. You're a cat person. I am a dog guy. I'm a dog guy so much that I actively dislike cats.
Yes.
And all kidding aside, if I'm being honest, I'm a little afraid of cats in real life.
Yeah.
I will stick like my whole face inside a German Shepherd's mouth that I just met because he looks like he might be kind of a good boy. But cats kind of scare me. And then there was Cody.
Huh.
Cody looked like a canned ham with a tail and a collar. And the first time I saw him, I was like, hey, Santo, your fucking couch is moving. And damn it, if me and that guy didn't just plain old understand each other. I hate cats. But the first time I saw Cody, I was like, hey, cat, what the hell do you want? And Cody was like, attention and snacks. And I was like, no shit, me too. And we were best friends after that.
Yeah.
But for real, one of the best periods of my movie going life was the couple of years where you and I had a regular weekly movie night where we would get together in your place and put on Lord knows what. Filmjitsu was kind of born in that basement. And Cody was there for all of it. So really, Jason, this entire episode truly was actually a top secret way to finally pay my respects to someone that I genuinely think is as much a part of this podcast as you and me. Dakota, you noisy little bastard. May the carpet of heaven be paved with dropped pepperonis. And with that, I'd like to give you my number 5.
Okay, please do.
Jay, my number 5 is Rufus, the dead cat brought back to life in 1985's Reanimator.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he's not on screen much, but
no.
From being a dead hunk of meat in a refrigerator to a reanimated dead hunk of meat in the refrigerator, Rufus makes the most of his screen time, and he reminds me of the cat that I had to dissect in my high school senior biology class. Me and my buddy Joe were lab partners, and we had this specimen cat named Speed Bump. Rufus looks just like Speed Bump, come back to horrific life. And that's the kind of deep-seated fear that I could do without. So for that reason, dead cat in the refrigerator, Rufus is my number 5.
Stuart Gordon. You can always resort to a Stuart Gordon pick for a bottom 5. I think that was a wise choice. My number 5 is DC, who's the cat from That Darn Cat, DC. 1965 film. Disney presents a mystery where the key witness is completely uninterested in helping. DC, the Siamese cat at the center of That Darn Cat, accidentally brings the link to a kidnapping case when he returns home wearing a wristwatch belonging to the victim, complete with a scratched-in message reading H-E-L-P, help. From there, the FBI, led by Dean Jones in full flustered Disney dad mode, builds an entire investigation around tracking this one cat. And what does DC do? Absolutely nothing useful. He wanders, he gets distracted, he refuses to cooperate, he actively derails surveillance efforts, disappears when it matters most, and generally behaves like a cat who has no idea he's the star of a crime procedural. Directed by Robert Stevenson, who also gave Disney one of the most polished live-action hits in Mary Poppins. This is a slick production built around a protagonist who embodies pure feline indifference. The case would have been solved faster if literally anyone else had found that watch. So, and my number 5, That Darn Cat.
It sounds like a bottom 5 cat, but it sounds like a pretty great flick, actually.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's fun.
They kind of cleverly cast the cat against type, which is like, we're actually just going to let the cat be a cat and see how that goes.
Well, they did that with Roar, too, to be fair, and that shit did not work out. So.
Speaking of shit that did not work out, my number 4 is Garfield from the Garfield movies.
Oh, man. Almost made my list.
For accomplishing the nearly impossible feat of making Bill Murray not funny.
Yeah.
I tried. I really tried to force a laugh, and I couldn't make it happen. Not even the fact that Bill Murray reunites with Stephen Tobolowsky from Groundhog Day could save this for me. The fun fact here is that this film was written by a guy named Joel Coen, not as in Coen of the Coen brothers. And Bill Murray thought that it was written by the Joel Cohen and agreed to do the movie and only found out it wasn't that guy after the movie had started. I think that's kind of amazing. Of course, in Zombieland, Bill Murray himself famously named Garfield as his biggest movie regret with his dying breath. And who am I to tell Bill Murray he was wrong?
If it means anything now, I am so sorry. It's just instinctive.
It was my bad. I was never a very good practical joker.
So do you have any regrets?
Garfield, maybe?
My number 4 is Irina Gallier from 1982's Cat People. We've talked about cat people here and there, but in Cat People, being a cat isn't a condition. It's, I guess, sort of a metaphor or maybe a curse, possibly just an excuse. Look, this is a remake of the 1942 Val Lewton produced classic, which relied on suggestion and psychological horror. By contrast, director Paul Schrader, fresh off writing Taxi Driver and directing American Gigolo, leans really hard into eroticism, dream logic, and visual style. The premise, certain people turn into large predatory cats when sexually aroused, which is a sentence that raises more questions than that film ever answers. The rules are really unclear. The mythology is half explained. The tone swings wildly between art house mood piece and late night cable Skinamax. And while Nastasia Kinski is fully committed, the film itself seems far more interested in atmosphere than coherence, complete with this Giorgio Moroder score and a David Bowie theme song that arguably outclasses anything else in the movie. Less cat person, more person in a movie that occasionally remembers it has cats in it. Cat People from 1982 is my number 4.
Have you seen Cat People? Which one? The horny one. Well, sir, my number 3 is not a specific cat, but rather an entire cast of cats. It's not the cats in the musical with all the buttholes. I am instead going with all of the evil, bloodthirsty cats in 1986's An American Tale. This is Fievel, where these savage cats spend the whole movie trying to murder poor little adorable Fievel and his family and friends. Holy shit. This is another Don Bluth nightmare fest, Jay.
Yeah.
It came out in 1986. I was 5 years old, and this thing scared the living shit out of me at that age. Don Bluth should probably have been sent to jail for fucking up a generation of kids. Jay,
Yeah.
this is about Russian Jews getting their houses burned down by the Cossacks, so they flee to America via New York City. And yeah, the mice do too. I wish that was me being overly dramatic or like interpretive. No, that's what this movie
It's true.
for kids was about. They spend the whole transatlantic journey, this little mouse family, singing "There Are No Cats in America," only to get here and find out, as you have pointed out, it is just full of fucking cats, and they all hate mice, and they all want them dead. Was that scary as hell in 1986? Yes, it was. And even scarier is that it could also be the immigrant story of people coming to America in 2026, right? Promise the land of freedom only to find out that it's crawling with predators that want to delight in their terror. Am I grasping at straws here? No, I don't think I am. This movie was executive produced by Steven Spielberg, who even Roger Ebert at the time thought was bringing us a really important parable about immigrants. And in fact, Spielberg's own grandfather was named Fievel. It's all in the screen, and these cats are nothing but razor sharp teeth terrors. And genuinely, it scared me as a kid. And in rewatching clips before the show, they still do. So that stuff stuck with me. And so for being so wildly dark, depressing, and scary for a kid's movie, it's all of the cats from An American Tale at my number 3.
Yeah. You could have also gone with the cat Dragon from The Secret of Nim, also directed by Don Bluth.
Don Bluth,
which, honest to God, when you mentioned An American Tail, I immediately made the connection to Dragon and then wished it was on my list. My God, that was a scary cat.
If I hadn't actually been near a cat, I'd be sneezing my brains out. I'm allergic to hay. Excuse me, pardon me. Get out! Run for your lives! Run!
My number 3 are the Tsavo lions from The Ghost in the Darkness from 1996. Based on a true story.
Yeah.
So you got that. The Ghost in the Darkness features 2 lions that behave less like animals and more like supernatural slashers. The film dramatizes the infamous Tsavo man-eaters of 1898. What a phrase. Who reportedly killed dozens of railway workers in Kenya. But in the movie, these lions don't just hunt. They stalk. They strategize, they appear and then disappear with eerie precision, and they seem to understand human behavior in a way that feels almost paranormal. At times, they're less like wildlife and more like Michael Myers with fur.
Yeah.
The pedigree behind the camera on this one is no joke. It's written by William Goldman, The Princess Bride.
Wow.
Directed by Stephen Hopkins, Predator 2. And shot by Oscar-winning cinematographer Vilmos Zsigmond, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Oh, why not?
The film is beautifully made, which only makes it funnier that the lions feel like they wandered in from a horror franchise. You add Val Kilmer and Michael Douglas in front of the camera, and you have to wonder how this thing managed to be as dumb as it is. These cats are the ones that Hank from Roar thinks he can coexist with. Number 3, the Tsavo lions from The Ghost in the Darkness.
This was the film that I almost watched before recording just to get it in.
Yeah, no
this
way.
was because this movie came out, I think you said in 1996, which meant a 15-year-old Mike Merrigan sweet talked his grandmother into going to the convenience store to rent the VHS tape so he could watch it for the weekend.
Sure.
I know that I did. I know that everything you said is true, and I haven't seen it since.
Yeah,
so
fair.
I would love to follow up with this because I guess I had an impression that it was kind of awesome, but it makes sense that it's stupid
not.
as hell.
It's not. It's not a good film.
A 15-year-old me probably would have been crazy about it.
Maybe.
My number 2, Disney gives us an absolute embarrassment of riches when it comes to evil cats. It's a pretty regular staple of those classic Disney films. And even though there's a handful of them that could all properly deserve a spot on the list, right? Lucifer from Cinderella and, of course, Shere Khan from The Jungle Book. I think there are none more evil than Scar from The Lion King.
Such a good choice.
Yeah, he's basically Claudius from Hamlet who murders his own brother to gain power over the kingdom. There are even some fan theories, Jay, that Scar cannibalized Mufasa after causing him to fall to his death. There are also videos on YouTube where they sort of show Scar and the hyenas like swarming over the Pride Lands with Donald Trump whipping up his minions into a frenzy before storming the Capitol. So,
oh my God.
While that's not even the worst thing Donald Trump has ever done vis-a-vis posting videos of Lion King, it is enough to decide that a fratricidal, possibly cannibalistic Scar very much deserves a place on this bottom 5 list. Much credit, by the way, is due to Jeremy Irons for providing an absolutely flawless vocal performance as one of Disney's greatest villains and one of my bottom 5est cats.
There's no way to argue that that doesn't belong on a bottom 5 list. I'm ashamed that it isn't on mine, only because I went in a somewhat different direction for my final 2.
Yep.
Very consistent, very campy. Number 2 is the alien cat from the 1992 film The Cat, the Hong Kong sci-fi horror action thriller. At a certain point, you actually had to ask, is this still a cat? The Cat is based on the long-running Wisely novels by Hong Kong sci-fi writer Ni Kuang, which follow an adventurer who regularly encounters aliens, ancient mysteries, and other high-concept weirdness. The film loosely adapts those stories, and this particular entry goes all in. The cat in question is an extraterrestrial entity with psychic abilities, superhuman agility, and a direct connection to a human ally as they battle another alien threat. What follows is a barrage of wire-fu action, glowing eye standoffs, telekinetic chaos, and tonal whiplash, all centered around something that looks like a house cat, but functions like a sci-fi superhero. The movie plays it completely straight, which somehow makes it even more unhinged. This isn't a cat. It's an intergalactic entity that occasionally meows. The alien cat from 1992.
That's pretty good. I didn't have any intergalactic cats. The closest I came, it didn't end up on my list, was that fucking cat from Men in Black, where it turns out like the whole universe is in its collar. I was like, that's such a cat thing to do. Be like, oh, the one fucking thing that everybody needs. It's like the cat has it and doesn't even give a shit. That is such a cat thing. But
wasn't it Orion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Jay, my number one is Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this Lynchian nightmare is the single most unsettling and simultaneously obnoxious character in all of cinema history. I'm talking about, Jay, from like the moment that Louis Le Prince rolled the first film cell in 1888 until this instant right now, there may be no character in all of movie history that I would rather dismember with my bare hands than Mike Myers as the Cat in the Hat. This film is like some kind of like lethal dose of annoying in order to psychologically break its audience. And you know what? It worked. Because I made it maybe 15 minutes into this movie, and I was hoping that an electric eel would crash through my window and fly down my throat and cook me from the insides. The Cat in the Hat was directed by Bo Welch, a 4-time Oscar-nominated production designer and a Lifetime Achievement Award winner from the Guild of Art Designers. He did production design on things as varied, Jay, as The Colored Purple, Edward Scissorhands, The Birdcage, and The Lost Boys.
Damn.
Yeah. Unfortunately, no amount of bona fides absolves a character as unbearable as the Cat in the Hat. Cats, as a species, I believe, have so much to apologize for, but nothing greater than the Cat in the Hat. That is my number one.
Plus, it was a really good book, you know what I mean? So it kind of shits all over a really good legacy, you know? So that's kind of the rough thing. That's a cool, that's a good pick.
Like, it's nice. Like the makeup is so weird. Like it almost looks like the Eraserhead baby, but it's also the Cat in the Hat. I hate it.
It looks like from Eraserhead, it's not the baby, it's not the girl from the Radiator, is it? There's this character in Eraserhead who looks just like the Cat in the Hat.
See?
I might actually have to put it on the website in the show notes.
Do it.
And this whole thing that you're doing right now is going to really upset my son, JT Santo. He still stands by how much he loves this movie, even though he knows how awful it is. Sometimes you just have that nostalgia factor. For you, it's Terminator 2. For him, it's Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, just the right thing at the right time, I guess.
Yeah, they're pretty much the same thing. All right, so moving on to The Mutant Cat.
Oh.
From Uninvited, which is a 1978 film, which is absolutely bonkers. This had to have been my number one.
I know this one.
Oh, you've got to know this one.
Yeah.
In Uninvited, a genetically engineered lab cat escapes captivity, only to reveal that inside this cat is another far more aggressive cat. Yes, a cat within a cat.
Yeah, Russian nesting cats.
A biological nesting doll of feline terror. After fleeing the lab, it stows away on a yacht owned by a group of deeply unpleasant rich people.
That's
where
the one.
It proceeds to pick them off one by one. The kills are interspersed with some of the most delightfully terrible animatronic effects of the era. as the inner cat repeatedly emerges in ways that defy both anatomy and common sense. Directed by Graydon Clark, a veteran of low-budget exploitation cinema, the film leans into its absurdity with complete sincerity, which only enhances the madness. Not just a bad movie cat, the most aggressively unnecessary cat ever put on film. Yes, even including Mike Myers, Mike, the mutant cat from Uninvited.
I am watching that the moment we finish recording.
Absolutely. And if any of you out there happen to have any cats that you think we should have had on our lists, you can send it to jay@filmjitsu.net.
You can also reach out to me and I can give you Santos' commuting schedule, and then you can just sit on the train with him and tell him you heard him on the internet.
Mike, it's that time again. We haven't done this in a little while. Too many people have been dying, unfortunately. We've been playing a lot of Kick 2 Pick 2, which is really upsetting.
We have. Somebody asked me the other day if we were going to do that for Chuck Norris, and I informed them that I do not know 4 Chuck Norris movies. So
yeah, I would have struggled as well, probably. But instead, we are going to finally get back to Dueling Double Bills, where we randomly generate 2 titles, and then each one of us has to pair a movie with these randomly generated titles to try to make a great double feature. And then we debate over who has the better one, award points, and at the end of the year, some fuckery happens where we end up having to watch a bunch of bullshit.
It's no less confusing than the March Madness tournament.
With all that said, we're going to go ahead and reveal our first film. I'm going to click the button on the randomizer, and we're going to go ahead with 1976's Grizzly.
This motion picture does not cater to fantasy. You will see nature's most savage man-eating animal. By its size alone, it can overpower and devour any human. Grizzly.
Sounds like a good pairing with Roar, honestly. Would have
for sure
been a good one. And we're going to go with there. Let's see. We got another one. Dueling Double Bill number 2. The randomly generated title is Project X from 1987.
He can develop skills through play.
Up. Go up. That's right, pull it back. That's good.
Well, some very impressive flying there, Garrett.
He can recognize friends.
Come on.
And enemies.
Well, I think your animal is the best qualified for our demonstration.
Virgil is almost human, with one exception. He trusts us.
It's a pretty different angle. This one was the one about the chimpanzees being used in like Air Force experiments. I think Matthew Broderick is in this, right? I feel like for some reason that Peter Gabriel song Shock the Monkey, I feel like that, and everybody thought it was called Jacques the Monkey, Shock the Monkey, right? Like I'm pretty sure that was somehow linked to Project X. Maybe I'm making that up, but that's what's in my mind when I think of that.
The internet will tell us, yeah.
I guess a message film, right, for Project X, very similar to Roar, and that has that bigger message about animal preservation, animal cruelty, and then Grizzly just being, incredibly dangerous. All right, I've got mine.
I was ready. Essentially, the instant you gave me the second title, I was ready to go. I've never come up with these faster.
I wonder if maybe we have the same ones. Because I don't, we'll see.
Only one way to find out.
Mike, where did you land with Grizzly?
Grizzly is this loud, stupid, like a fuzzy Jaws, out in nature and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted a similarly stupid out in nature movie to go with this, just like a real cheese night and kind of the grindhousey kind of thing. I'm going with 19 1997's The Edge, where Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins fight bears in the mountains.
And each other.
Yeah, because I believe he done slept with his lady. That's what happened.
He done slept with his lady.
Remember before how I told you in 1996, a 15-year-old Mike Merrigan made his grandmother take him to the store to rent a film?
Yeah.
1 year later, I would have done the same thing to go get The Edge. That is my pairing. Grizzly and 1997's The Edge.
That's a neat pairing from the standpoint of it's not two of the same thing. It's two sort of related things. But I went purely relational, and I went for pure chaos animal cinema. Grizzly and Cocaine Bear. So both films, they basically hinge on the same insane question. What happens when humans completely lose control of a wild animal situation? So it just, and I think that the difference here is intent, right? Mm-hmm. Grizzly is more of no, they're the same thing. They're basically the same thing, just told decades apart. So I'm just going to go with it. I can't even try to say that they're not similar. They are. It was just what married in my head.
Well
I
done.
think if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. And in this case, it's a pound of cocaine. I'm going to go with
So where did you land then for Project X?
For Project X, I decided on Monkey Shines, An Experiment in Fear, the George Romero film. I think that the whole idea here is that you've just got one movie that presupposes that monkeys are lovely creatures, very intelligent, wonderful. And in the other film, you have them malicious and murderous. So I think that that's great. There is experimentation in both films, so I think they're linked by that. They're both 80s movies. They weren't made too far apart from each other, if I'm not mistaken. I think it would make a great late 80s double bill of monkey terror, if you will.
Well, all right. I like that. I was kind of in a similar thought pattern on this one. I feel like maybe I landed on something that I like the synergy maybe a little bit more. I decided for Project X, I was going to pair it with Jordan Peele's 2022 film, Nope.
Nope. Yeah.
Because
I could see that.
You don't get a lot of opportunities to have like sci-fi monkey shenanigans. And when you do, and they work together so well, there's like an alien plot, but there's a monkey plot in both of them. And I think that there's something about them that just kind of like resonates with the other a little bit in a way that I like. Also, we don't get a lot of opportunities to talk about Jordan Peele films on Filmjitsu.
That's so true.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Here.
Yeah. You could have gone with Primate. You do realize that, right?
I could have. I think Nope and Project X, I think, pair just perfectly together, almost kind of accomplishing what you were trying to accomplish with your double bill, right?
It's the same kind of thing.
I like the distance maybe between the two.
You like the distance and I like the proximity. So we're at a bit of an odds here with that one, because with Nope, it's such a different kind of film than Project X. Project X is young man is in a torn moral dilemma about what to do about animal cruelty kind of situation. And then Nope touches on some of those similar themes, but is way off on this whole other sort of story about spectacle and everything that it's talking about. And what I like about Monkey Shines is because it is of an era. It's like the monkey movie era. Right, of the 80s. And it is also about experimentation, like Project X. It's just different angles, and it goes in two different directions. It's almost like the good monkey and the bad monkey. You know what I mean? So they sort of ride together, I think, more for me as a pairing goes. So I see where you came from with that one, but it doesn't work quite as well for me as most of yours usually do. What was your first one again with Grizzly?
It's the one that I think that if we're going to fight over points, this might be the one I fight for here. Grizzly and The Edge, where Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree, because I just went Cocaine Bear, which is essentially Grizzly except up to date.
I kind of do see the pairing working for the right kind of audience. For me, it's just exhausting. It's like to go from Grizzly into
I agree.
Cocaine Bear.
I think I would show Cocaine Bear first. because it's the much more tolerable of the two movies.
Yep.
Which is saying a lot.
Right.
But then by the time you're done with Cocaine Bear and you're about 20 minutes into Grizzly, you can start making out with the person next to you.
You're like one of those shroom shamans that like guides your trip, except it's all Cocaine Bear. Well, I think then if I'm hearing us correctly, we have a split fight, right?
We have
We're
a
each
split.
gonna take one.
We got a split.
You're going to win for Project X and Monkey Shines, and I'm going to take it with Grizzly and The Edge. Everything about that actually makes sense to me.
What's funny is you wanted to watch Uninvited right after this. I want to go and watch The Edge right now.
I know.
Really do.
That might be the double bill that we didn't even know we needed, right? When there was just one
Uninvited and The Edge.
Yeah. When there was just one set of footprints in the sand, the Uninvited and The Edge was carrying us.
Mike, it's that time of the show where I got to get you back for Roar. And have you ever looked at a movie's credits and thought, how did all of these people end up here?
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Well, the film that you're going to have to watch next comes from a director who made one of the most harrowing nuclear films ever put to screen.
Oh.
And then, not even a decade later, helmed one of the biggest romantic hits of the 90s. And then he somehow landed here. We're talking about a movie directed by Mick Jackson, the same guy behind Threads and The Bodyguard, who in 1997 found himself orchestrating a full-scale natural disaster in downtown Los Angeles. Leading the charge is Tommy Lee Jones, bringing full U.S. Marshal level intensity to a situation that may or may not make a whole lot of sense the longer you think about it, dropping right in the middle of the 90s disaster movie boom. This flick went head-to-head with Dante's Peak at the box office, and it won. Even if anyone who saw it probably can't tell you if this is the one with Linda Hamilton or not.
Yeah, this is the one that I always just say, like, this is the one that's not Dante's Peak, right? What is the name of this fucking thing?
1997's Volcano.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. Volcano. Jay, if I'm not wrong,
yes,
is the tagline for this movie not "The Coast is Toast"?
The coast is toast. Yes, baby. And what is even more apropos is the fact that you just couldn't remember the title of this movie.
Right.
You only knew it as Not Dante's Peak.
Right.
And one of the primary reasons that you probably couldn't remember the movie is because its title may not even accurately be describing its own central problem. Because if anyone in their right mind was titling that film nowadays, we would have called it Lava.
Right. Uh-huh.
So what we're going to be counting down for our bottom 5 is our bottom 5 misnamed movies.
Ah, well done.
Films where the title doesn't quite match what's actually happening on screen.
Okay, that sounds really fun. I love this. We are going to have fun, I can tell. What is going on? Volcano is another 1997 movie. For some reason this week we're just like, that's it. Once we're done talking about Roar, we're only going to talk about the years 1996 and 1997. That's it. Well, fine. Fine. Have it your way, Santo. I will check in with 1997's Volcano, which I don't think is that much about volcanoes.
Not at all. Something to do with the La Brea tar pits and a whole lot of lava.
Well, if anything, I guess it'll be a good chance to watch a Tommy Lee Jones movie, and I'll take that any opportunity that I get. But yikes.
Well, be sure to join us next time when Mike has to review Volcano, and we'll be counting down our bottom 5 misnamed movies. But until then, we have been your hosts. I am Jay.
And I am Mike.
And we'll see you next time.
Cut out Stalno mislim na te, hoću znat sve karte, vježbat ću sate i sate. Karate, ne hoću dok zadnji mi kjaj zastane izađe.
Now I can talk at a normal volume, Mike.
Great. I have gone 45 years without being able to figure that out at all.